Gerald Harver invested $20,000 in the Boyd Kern Mutual Fund. The net asset value is $21.34 per share. The fund is front-loaded with a loading rate of 5.25%. How many shares did Gerald purchase? Alright, so the question is asking us to solve for number of shares purchased. So if we go and grab our number of shares equation, we know that we are going to need, so our number of shares is going to be equal to our amount invested minus the loading charge. So we take that difference and then we divide by the net asset value per share. So to find the number of shares, we need the amount invested, the loading charge, and the net asset value per share. Alright, so do we know the amount invested? Yes, we know that it's $20,000. Do we know the loading charge? We don't. So let's grab the loading charge equation. So our loading charge is going to be equal to our loading rate multiplied by the amount invested or the amount of sale. So either the amount invested or the amount of sale, depending on whether it's backloaded or front-loaded. Alright, so because this fund is front-loaded, that means there is a loading charge associated with our calculation for number of shares. Okay? It does matter whether the question states front-loaded or back-loaded. Alright, so our loading charge is going to be equal to our rate, which is 5.25% or 0.0525 multiplied by the amount invested, which is $20,000. So we get a loading charge of $1,050. So that's our loading charge. Alright, so we're going to be able to take that and plug that back into our number of shares equation. So the number of shares purchased is equal to the amount invested, which we already know to be $20,000. We subtract off the loading charge of $1,050, and we divide by the net asset value per share. They tell us the net asset value is $21.34. So from here, it's just a matter of simplification. And we find that the number of shares purchased is $888 and no change. So again, that's $888. Again, be careful calculating loading charges. Front-loaded gets associated with a number of shares equation. Back-loaded would be associated with the sale.